the #1 long-form writer that helps SEOs outrank competition at the click of a button using real-time research and NLP. Start ranking content today with contentatScale.ai.
Wix Studio, one end-to-end web creation platform for your agency to deliver exceptional work with absolute efficiency.
Good evening, everyone. So my name is Tuhin, and I'm from India and Dubai. So today my topic would be significance of cost retrieval and how one can leverage more into the semantics. Now, before I begin, just a small introduction about myself. So I'm a world traveler. I have been to more than 120 countries all over the globe. And apart from that, I do SEO. So other than that, I have been a TED speaker since last couple of years. And before even starting with my slides, let me tell you that in today's era, like large language models have been growing vastly across multiple search engines like Google, Bing, DuckDuckGo, Yahoo, and a lot more. So the problem is that with predictive AI or with like the ChatGPT or even with like any kind of predictions in terms of languages or automated content generation, it's quite difficult for Google or their spiders to extract the meaningful information out of your content. And having said that, it is very much important that you really help the search engines to reduce their cost in terms of resources, like how much investment they are doing in extracting your information and how much relevancy they are really finding in providing a rich version of your content. So having said that, let us venture deep dive into the topic of how you can control or optimize the cost of retrieval for enhancing a better search. Not only that, but also for enhancing like more rich text information on the search engines. So starting with the first thing, what exactly is cost of retrieval? So once again, cost of retrieval is the amount of resources such as how much time they takes or how much bandwidth, what is the crawl budget. So how much amount of effort they are doing in terms of a computational standpoint for getting the rich and the most meaningful content out of your like website. So this can be divided into 4 stages, like the indexing cost, the query processing cost, the ranking cost, and the delivery cost. So let us understand all of the 4 one by one. Starting with the indexing cost, now just imagine, for time being obviously, that Google is your librarian. So now imagine that you enter into a library and you are asking the librarian that I need the best books, like I need the book of a particular thing. So if the book is well stored or it is stored in an organized manner, so obviously the librarian, like it would be quite convenient for the librarian to just go and grab that book and give it to you. So having said that, for search engines, this should be well indexed. If there is a problem on indexing, then search engines cannot show the information to, obviously to the, like the users whenever someone enters some query. So this is what indexing cost is. The next one is query processing cost. So once again, imagine Google as a librarian, and this time, if your librarian really understands what exactly you are trying to read, like for example, you just go and say, hey, I want to read a thriller book. So if the librarian really knows that, okay, these are the genres which are from thrillers or comics or mathematics or like ABC. So the thing is that if they understand the intent about what you really want, so this would be quite convenient for the librarian to just go grab that book and send it to you. See, similar way, if your content really speaks the language, if your content really satisfies the algorithms or most importantly, the user intent, then this would be very much convenient for the search engines to really understand what information that would be trying to decipher and just provide meaningful results accordingly. Then the ranking cost. So now once again, this time, suppose you are going to a library and you are asking for a book. Now, if the books are stored in order of their relevancy, or I must say demand, so in this, by just doing this simple step, it would be quite convenient for the librarian to once again go and fetch that book and give it to you. So similar way, if you can really satisfy the ranking algorithms, obviously there are a bunch of them, but if you can just satisfy the broad algorithms and just follow the top rated guidelines or the content guidelines, so this would be convenient for you as well. And then moving down to the last thing is the delivery cost. So just imagine that the library is it's maybe 3-stored building, and you are on the ground floor, and the book that you need is on the top floor. So this would be quite hard for the librarian to just go and grab that book. So similar way, if you have your website and some of the important pages are buried deep down without having a proper structure, proper internal links, or a proper pillar page strategy, so search engines can also find it difficult to show that on the ranking as well. Now, here are certain DIY steps that you can just use for optimizing the 4 of them. Starting with the lowering indexing cost. So once again, the purpose of lowering the indexing cost is to make sure you are having a clean indexing rate of your website. Now, this might sound a bit technical, but the thing is, this is really important because just imagine, you have a great piece of a content and unfortunately that is not even indexed. So what's the use? No matter how many users search on that particular query, that content would never be shown. So this is one of the most serious, yet I must say that your content should be indexed no matter what. So few, you guys can take a screenshot, but some photo, but the thing is that some of the common technicalities is that you can have a proper sitemap, you can have a better internal linking structure, you should decrease the number of unimportant pages or the pages which do not serve any user value. You should obviously make sure that your campaign or your website loads faster, and definitely you should have a proper clean URL structure. Now I'll come to that later, why a proper URL structure is required. Now then for query processing, so before saying this, let me tell you that Google uses a model known as the Pegasus model. So the purpose of this model is that Google just extracts the rich information or facts, and it ignores any kind of verdicts or your opinion. So Google just follows on the exact facts. So the thing is, if you're trying to make up a content, always make sure that you are writing from some trustworthy sources. Your piece of content really have some important link backs, or I would also say that this should follow some good facts. You can reduce the number of abstracts because that is something Google does, reduces that. And obviously, you can use the structured data for feeding in more information to the search engines so that they can know more context out of your website as what is your business, what your business does, which location it serves, what is the customer, what is the customer audience base, and so on. And lastly, I have taken this from Dixon's website, by the way. So so the thing is that this really helped me a lot. So for reducing the ranking cost, just so that your campaign is not too much deep buried down into the crowd of if anyone have an e-commerce campaign, there can be tens of thousands of pages. So there can be a page which might be very much deep buried internally, and that might be lost. So you can use a proper pillar structure, or we also call that as a silo architecture. you can just like make proper topic clustering and just follow a proper topic clustering model, and this is how this looks like. And lastly, for reducing the delivery cost, so this is once again, you should be optimizing the resources on your campaign in terms of both the technical and the on-page point of view, such as improving the site speed, focusing on optimizing your images or any kind of your large assets, such as images, videos. If someone is using some kind of databases like PDB files and so on, definitely your CSS, JavaScripts, and so on. Because if you really use that, your content would be loading more faster than usual, and this can really put a good amount of user experience, and that would definitely help in improving the delivery cost as well. So this is a real-time example of a practical situation that I have done for my own website. So I have went into the Search Console and I just had a look back on Jan. What was my average crawl request on a single day? For those of who you are not aware of what crawl request means, so this means that the number of pages Google can crawl on a given single day, and it's almost an average value. Now, why this is important? This is important because suppose if you have a page of maybe 1 million pages, and if your crawl request is just maybe 100, so that is something to worry about. Like this might take almost a year to just scan through your entire campaign, and this is quite deadly, specifically for any bigger campaigns. So I had a crawl request of 55, but my indexing ratio is 391. So I just calculated an hypothetical crawl budget, just a division. So it came around 7.10, as you can see. The site index value divided by the single day crawl statistics. And this is not a real formula, but this just can give you a ratio of what is the, like how much budget you are actually investing or is being exhausted by the search engines. So based on some of our survey across 3,000 campaigns, we came to a point that like if a crawl budget is within 1 to 3, it's good, because obviously if Google takes 1 or 2 days to crawl an entire campaign, that's quite good. So if it is 3 to 10, that needs a bit of an improvement, but if it is more than 10, then it's quite destructive, because this will be causing a lot of delays in scanning or crawling your entire campaign. So what we did was, the first thing we did was a robots optimization. Like previously, we just had a basic robots. This is the most basic which anyone can just like imagine. After that, what we did was like we just extended that. So we get rid of the pagination issues. We then removed or we blocked all the taxonomies or the unwanted pages like the author. For me, we actually do not need any category pages, but for some other businesses, this might be important. So make sure that you are aware of this. We blocked any dynamic 404 errors, and we just did some small modification. We also removed the unwanted pages from Google Search Console. I just simply did a site colon of my website search, and if I found any irrelevant results that is showing on my campaign, and that can be quite random, so I just got rid of them from the Google Search Consoles under Removal Unwanted section. And then obviously fix the core web vitals, even though this is not a ranking factor, to be honest, but having said that, this really produces a lot of a lot of benefit on the user point of view. So we just fixed a lot of the things, such as reducing the, you can say like getting rid of as much as JavaScript as possible, making the content load on content delivery networks, and so on. We got rid of all the taxonomy pages. For me, it was not important. Once again, for e-commerce, this might be important. And we also indexed like the sitemap using Google's Python. So for those of you who are not aware, Google have an indexing Python, like Google have an indexing API, which can be run using a Python program, which can be found online. If someone needs that, they can ask me later. So using that, you are not limited to the official limit of the Search Console, which is just 200 in a single day. So suppose if you need to really index lots and lot of pages, so you can just use this API. And you can go to this blog later on where the entire detailed step-by-step guidelines have been shown. And this is what we have really achieved, by the way. So our index value have improved, and as you can see, like our new crawl ratio have from 55, it went to 213, and the budget is now 3.3, which have been reduced from the earlier 7. So as a result of which, my own website really had a leverage in terms of visibility, which I'll be showing later on. So now moving into the semantics part. So I'll just take 30-second pause here and I'll just explain why having a better control on the large language model is important on the semantics. So the thing is, the purpose of semantic engineering is to understand the intent of a user as a layman. Now the thing is, if you make the job of the Google or any kind of search engines quite easier, like if you can really make their life easier by providing rich information, having a clean website, making sure that your index rate, your crawling, your rendering, everything is proper. This is the, I must say, this is the milestone 1 that you can do for your campaign. You are providing a good road for the search engine so that they can easily navigate, and then they can use that for understanding the intent about your content, about your business, about your goals, and about your targeting more. And then you should slowly travel towards semantics, where the purpose is to provide more relevancy into the content and to deep dive more towards the intent satisfaction. So I have also provided some more strategies over here. So the first thing is the customer journey mapping. This is an inspiration I have got from Moz. So for any kind of keyword, this can be broken down into 4 segmentation, like starting by an awareness, then striking the interest, then desire, then action. So if you're trying to build a landing page, or if you're trying to optimize the content, like a keyword research should not be done in a rush. It should not be like, okay, I'm heading over to the Google keyword planner or into some XYZ tools and softwares. It should be really done stepwise, where you first start with the creating an awareness, then striking on the interest and desire, and slowly towards the action, where action can be for any kind of transactional or commercial keywords as well. So this is what I was speaking about. So this comes from Ahrefs, where you can really break that down into informational, navigational, commercial, or transactional. You can even make your page biased toward this. For example, if you want to target some informational keywords, then you can use those on your blog post, because normally long tail keywords or any kind of keywords that have medium to low competition falls under the informational segment. So they are good for targeting the blog. Then for the commercial, it can be done on the landing pages, and for transactional on your products pages or your main service, or maybe any kind of page where you would be having a business value. So there are some more algorithms, or I would say some natural language processing concepts which can be used. So things like LDA, which stands for Latent Dirichlet's Allocation, and this NLP comes from Google, and it helps in satisfying the relevancy order for your campaign. And we'll see in a minute how this is actually done. So this comes from Google. The thing is, LDA is something that is used by Google's ranking system to understand the relevancy and the similarity models when they try to correlate between multiple pages, or when there is a huge competition about the same. So the easiest way to do that is you can pick your URL, pick your focus keyword, or can be a group of keywords, by the way, and choose your competitors. That can be also list. And then you can run some Python, and this can be once again found online. ChatGPT is there right now, so you can get handhold of the entire coding structure nowadays. So suppose I wanted to rank the AI-based SEO services, and these are some of my key competitors. And suppose this is my focus keyword. So I just run the LDA algorithm, or I must say an NLP, because that's a library, not really an algorithm. And then I did some A/B testing. So I kept on testing until my relevancy order became more than the average value of my competitor. So it's like I have my data and I have my mean average data of my competitors, and I kept on using a lot of other NLP classifiers for injecting and optimizing it more until I have a better value. This is how the output normally looks like if you just run that particular thing, and this really helps a lot. And lastly, to add few things on what Dixon said about entities. So entities is really, once again, one of the greatest concepts in SEO. So for any beginners, you can also use an MREID, which stands for machine readable entity. If someone is having a fresh business, someone is new in the business, that might take a lot of time in Google to understand that particular thing. So you can simply declare that as an MREID. So Google can take a note of that as a value or a variable. And the more work you do on the SEO, so this can really, this is a slow process, by the way, something you cannot expect overnight. But this really helps long down the line. This is how this looks like in your structured data. This can be implemented in any form of structured data, by the way. And few more things is like you can work on your schema for improving the rank brain, optimize for the SMID, do a better sentiment analysis. All are available on Google's NLP platforms. And this is for one of the campaign we did on Upper Key, where after implementing, just fixing the LDA and the relevancy order, the campaign got spiked up in just a matter of 2.5 months. So once again, like the purpose of the thing is like SEO is really complex. Like it's getting complex nowadays, and the change of SEO is real. It's becoming really complicated. In fact, as per Statista, I think more than 500,000 websites are being live every single day, and the crowdiness of the entire internet is becoming high and high and high. So if you really want to stand out in the crowd, you really need to declare yourself as an entity, which Dixon just said. And apart from that, you need to really focus on controlling your indexation rate, your having your site on a better controllable state, and also using various algorithms to make sure that you are providing meaningful results and rich contents so you can stand out in the crowd. So that's all. Thank you once again. And if anyone needs this slide once again, so you can just mail me at info@thatware.co. It's co, don't mistake as com. And I can just send this slide to you. So thank you once again.
Monthly reporting making you want to shove sharp things up your nose? Try Dragon Metrics, the all-in-one SEO software with mind-blowing reporting tools.